Hello, I'm Kim Stevens here in the Fox 26 newsroom with fall here. And at some point, our temperatures will cool down. Of that, we are reassured. Maybe you're thinking about finally getting outside to kind of clean things up a little bit, maybe make some adjustments on your house, or looking around the inside and thinking, I've always wanted to do this and maybe now I can. Well, home renovation is something that's kind of perpetual. It's always happening for a lot of people, almost like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. You get through it and then you get to the end and you start again at the beginning. I'd like to bring in Courtney Klosterman, who is a home insights expert at Hippo, who can guide us through the smart home renovations and keep us from making some of the most common mistakes. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Kim. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. Nice to meet with you as well. So let's start off with, is there ever a time that you're maybe driving around your neighborhood and you go, oh, shoot, they should have talked to me. That is a mistake.
Well, we know that home improvement season can range from spring to fall, and there are a range of projects that you can tackle yourself or when you bring in a professional. And so it's really important to start to understand the differences between projects that are worthy of trying to attempt to DIY, do it yourself, or potentially hire that professional to help you get things done quickly and more efficiently. So I'm happy to dive into a couple of the mistakes to avoid, unless you wanted to start anywhere else.
No, let's start with the mistakes and how we can avoid them. Go for it. What's the first one?
Well, one of the first mistakes to avoid that can be commonly overlooked when you're looking at home projects is not reviewing your homeowner's insurance coverage. This is a little bit out of the norm of what you might think would constitute as a mistake, but it is very critical to know what is covered under your home insurance coverage so that you are taking on projects and updating your home and you ensure that you have the right coverage in case anything goes wrong later on or during the construction or updating process. First, certain renovations or upgrades could impact your insurance coverage and how much your premium will cost. So it's important to know what type of project you're going to take on and contact your insurer early on in the process so that you can understand if there will be any changes to your premiums, or if you need to add additional coverage to help with any renovations, especially if you're bringing in a professional contractor or someone else to make significant modifications to your home, such as renovating your kitchen or adding an extension to your home.
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic advice. So now that we've looked at our homeowner or our insurance for our home, and we have figured out that our plans are going to be just fine, where do we start? What would be one area of home renovation?
So it's really important to understand the scope of your project and the costs. So having a realistic understanding of the project's complexity, for instance, if you're taking on that kitchen remodel, this will help you understand what types of resources or materials you need and help you avoid any roadblocks that could occur in the middle of that home project. This could be something like underestimating the amount of work that's involved, or, for instance, the cost of materials being higher than you might have expected in terms of costs. So to help avoid some of these pitfalls, really do your research and ask the professionals so that you can rely on reputable sources before starting a home project, and make sure you check websites, contractors, or other sources that you might be able to speak with for information or knowledge about the project that you're completing. And it's also important to be really honest about your own skill level so that you know that you can be confident in taking on certain parts of that project yourself, and know your limits and know when it's important to hire a professional to come in and complete certain parts of the project. So if you can find a nice medium where there's small things you might be able to take on, that might help you cut down on costs, and then bring in the professionals when it's important to cover the more extensive work that needs to be done.
I'm seeing a lot of kind of this DIY home renovation in one of my social feeds, and they make it look so easy. Now, granted, it's sped up, so maybe what happened over a 6-month period, ended up looking like it was about a minute. Oh yeah, I can do that. This person can do that. I can do that. That's pretty dangerous.
Exactly. So, according to Hippo's House Power report this year, 38% of surveyed homeowners reported that learning new maintenance skills increase their sense of pride in owning their home. However, homeowners who bite off more than they can chew run the risk of costly errors that could require professional repairs. So, this can quickly overshadow the potential cost savings of completing that project DIY. So, it's really important to understand what types of projects you can take on yourself. And it's important to look at that project overall and maybe break it into smaller tasks if you're looking at completing it yourself. Identify which tasks within that project you can complete yourself confidently and which may require specialized skills and require you to have somebody with professional experience come on and finish the project for you. And weigh out the potential cost savings of completing that project DIY. It's important to know what types of things you may need to add on or rent potentially if you're completing the project yourself. Whereas, if you bring someone in, they'll likely have the tools to complete something on their own.
That's a very good point. Okay. What is another costly renovation mistake that you see people making?
So it's really important to not always think about design first over function. So prioritizing design aesthetics over function is a common mistake that homeowners should think about before they take on projects. So it's really, we all think about wanting to create a home that looks beautiful, feels beautiful, but that might come with neglecting practical considerations that could lead to inefficient use or potential breakdowns later on. For example, if you wanted to choose a visually striking but poorly ventilated kitchen hood in your kitchen, that could be a really beautiful aesthetic, but it may not be the most functional to be able to ventilate all of the fumes and whatnot when you're cooking and you're hosting and entertaining. So think about how you can avoid design flaws without undermining the aesthetic of your home. So think about function first and then layer in the design aesthetic afterwards so that you're thinking about the protection of your home and you're not having to worry about as many potential repairs that could come down the line because you're thinking about function first.
That's a really good point. I feel like you're in my brain because there was something I was watching on social again, and this person was putting down pieces of linoleum and over, I don't know, over the floor. Anyway, and it was great looking. It was just squares. Looked like it was pretty darn easy, but they were super shiny and they seemed to be like they could be slippery. And where they were putting them, that was my first thought is, that seems like someone could slip. That would be something that you should think about first.
Exactly. Really think about the use of that floor or the other types of upgrades that you're looking to add into your home. Think about use cases where you're going to be in that space, interacting with that system or with that new addition, and really think through all the variables that should be considered before you take on these projects. Consult with contractors or maybe potentially bring in an interior designer who can help you think about the space and how you're going to be interacting with it on a day-to-day basis.
One of the other things you were talking about was adding on to the home. What is some advice for someone who wants to and realizes they do have space to be able to do that? What is your advice for them?
I would say a common mistake to make sure that you avoid if you're thinking about adding on to a home is ignoring permits and
Mm.
other types of home inspections. So it's really important to consider this if your project will alter the footprint of your home. If it does, it likely requires a permit or an inspection before getting started. And skipping that permit or skipping that inspection could result in some consequences. It could cause delays in your project or even some costly fines. So it's really important to do your research up front. Projects that require permits could include things like cutting holes in the siding of the house for new windows, adding or removing a plumbing or an electrical system, or adding on that extension of the home, as I mentioned. So make sure that you are doing all of your planning and prep work up front, consulting with any professionals who are going to have the advice and knowledge to be able to guide you through the renovation and upgrade process to make sure it goes seamlessly for you and helps prevent problems down the line for your home.
That does add more money also because, permits cost money, so you have to prep for that as well.
Exactly. It's really important to think about budgeting. This is one of the most important things
Yeah.
as a homeowner, and especially as we're starting to get to the end of the year, budgets become a more common topic in a lot of households. So maybe even think about planning for the new year, what your budget looks like for next year, how much you want to think about investing in not only renovations, but thinking more short term around the seasons and specifically around home maintenance, because not just renovations, but it's really important to think about consistently maintaining your home to help prevent problems. And that's everything from making sure that you're understand and familiarizing yourself with your home systems, like your HVAC system, getting your filters regularly checked, to doing a survey of the exterior of your home, checking for roof damage. These are, again, DIY projects and tasks that any homeowner can complete, and those are typically free for anyone to start to understand how their home works and take on a little bit more ownership of that home.
Those things, though, are usually not as fun and sexy, you know?
Not as fun, but hey, you build the confidence where you may not have to call someone to help you if you're dealing with, a minor repair. And being able to really start to take on some of those tasks yourself can be not only empowering, but it can help you save some costs in the long run.
All right, we like saving money. Before I let you go, is there one other idea that we haven't touched on yet?
I think it's really important to not only think about the interior of your home, but also think about the exterior of your home. Curb appeal is a big deal these days, and it's really important to think about not only just the function, but is there anything else you can do that supports the function of your home and also, gives it a little bit of visual appeal? For instance, a fresh coat of paint around the outside of your home can not only add curb appeal, but it can also help eliminate any of the types of bugs or pests that could burrow into the siding of houses over time. It can also just give the home a little bit of a fresh overview so that there is, a clean exterior, and it's going to help prevent and withstand a lot of those weather related elements that are coming in the winter months. So if you're thinking about projects that boost curb appeal, make sure to consider things like a fresh coat of paint for the exterior, even on your door. That can be a great place to start.
Okay. I have a friend who's actually doing that next weekend. As you say, she's just bought a new house, and she is just so excited about changing the boring cream colored front door to green.
We love it. We love to see it. That's a great color choice. And when you paint your door, you're also giving it, again, when we think about pests and we're starting to get into the colder months, you're just giving your house another line of defense from all of the exterior, bugs and things, but also from the exterior elements. Winter is a really tough time on households, depending on where you live in the country. And it's really important to think about how you can prepare your home. And also, give it a great look and feel, because most importantly, we want you to be comfortable and confident in owning that home.
Okay. Courtney Klosterman from Hippo, thank you very much. I know that we can get more info maybe by going to hippo.com, right?
Yes, if you're interested in taking on DIY projects or you're not sure where to start when it comes to coverage for renovations, hippo.com is a great place to go. Or you can download the Hippo Home app where you can access tons of DIY checklists and information about how to protect your home.
Marvelous. All right. Well, thanks a lot for the time today. We appreciate it. You got the creative juices going in here.
Thanks so much for having me, Kim. Great to be with you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.